Just because you could doesn't mean you should. Just because you want to also doesn't mean it's good for you, that it's in alignment, that it's time, that you even have the space to do it. This is Christine Arylo here, and I am beaming to you from my Feminine Power Time studio with a short video on what we're talking about today at Feminine Power Time. We're talking about this week and this month, which is really about what I call time stealers. Time stealers and time sucks. They're the things that will just suck away your time, steal your time, make it so that you don't have the space to do what really matters to you. Time sucks and time stealers create pressure and constriction and contraction and stress. And some of those time sucks and time stealers are out of your control. We have deadlines and timelines and responsibilities that I know that are in your sphere, in your life, that you just have to deal with. But did you ever consider that there are a fair number of these pressure inducers that are stealing and sucking your time and making you feel like you don't have time or enough time, that are actually self-induced? It's true. And today we're going to talk about one of them. On this week's Feminine Power Time, we talked about 3, but I want to give you a short snippet about this for this practice video. So one of the things that I do is every week I do a Feminine Power Time podcast. If you're already connected and subscribed, amazing. If you're not, go onto your podcast app and subscribe. And I've just started doing videos again. I used to be a vlogger for many, many years, and then I've been doing a podcast for 3 years, and so I've done a lot less video. But I've been wanting to do these shorter videos for you all that give you each half moon. So I do 2 videos a month or 2 videos a moon, one on the half moon waning or waxing, getting bigger, and one on the half moon waning, getting smaller. Why the half moons? Why am I talking about the moons? Because when you and I, as women or any brave men that are here, get your life into alignment with the natural cycles, which by the way, the moon is, your life becomes more in harmony. And so on the half moon, getting bigger, the beginning of the month usually is when I kind of tell you, hey, here's what we're focused on, here's what's going on, here's what we're talking about at Feminine Power Time, which is really my stand for me and for you to live, to lead, to succeed a different way. Because the way that we've been trained to work and live and succeed is not sustainable. And then every month, every moon is also going to be this practice video. And it's a practice that comes from the Feminine Wisdom Way, which is the wisdom school that I started to teach women, mostly all women, sorry guys on this one, but to teach women how to, what does it actually mean to live in the flow? How do we practically plan our lives, plan our businesses, plan the way that we approach projects in a way that we have space for really living sustainably in our own bodies so we have what we need, but that we can also go out there and achieve what it is that you really desire. And we have to do that through practices. I mean, it really is the only way. These practices are what create structure for us, and the practices are what create self-awareness for us. So in these practices every month, what you'll get is either a tip about self-awareness, or not a tip, because I'm not into tips. Tips are like little pieces of information that fly out of your ear, and it overwhelms you. What I am about is giving you practical ways that you can take this wisdom and put it into your life. So this is this month's Feminine Wisdom Way practice, and it's all about how to stop making choices out of one of the biggest time stealers and time sucks you have, which is obligation. So just take a moment and consider all the ways in which you are giving and making choices from obligation. You feel like you have to, you should, it's the right thing to do. If you don't go to this gathering, or you don't do this, or you don't show up, or you don't do whatever it is that you're feeling pressured to do, whether it's internal pressure that you're creating, or it's external pressure that's coming from other people, when you act out of obligation, you can feel it. It feels constricted and contracted and like pressure and stress. And my dare to you, especially if you're in the end of the year when I'm taping this, but whenever you're listening to this, my dare to you is to do this last part of the year differently. My might dare to use to do your whole life differently, and to not make any choice from a place of obligation. So how does this practice work? Number one, notice when you're about to make a choice. Say yes to something, move into action on something from obligation, and you'll feel it in your body. You'll feel it in your psyche. And for more, make sure you listen to the episode number 104 on feminine power time, because I'll go more into what that feels like. But for now, just choose one thing in your life that you know that you're giving from a place of obligation, or you're about to make a choice from obligation. And I'm going to run you through a short 3 inquiries here, self-awareness inquiries, to help you shift. Because you may still do the same thing, but instead of giving from obligation, which is basically self-induced pressure and fear, you give from a place of harmony. So what is the place that you're feeling obligated to do something from? And just name that for yourself right now. It's number 1. Number 2, and that can help to close your eyes and just take a moment and take a breath. One of the biggest, I can't look at you all and also do this at the same time, but one of the biggest things about living in alignment and in the flow and in a way that you're not full of stress and pressure, what I call the feminine wisdom way, is you got to slow it down, because it's the only way your inner wisdom can speak to you. Otherwise, you're like a ping pong. You're in your mind, this or that, yes or no, and you'll just get trapped in realities that create suffering from you and for you. So take a breath. That's what we do every week at the Feminine Power Time. You can close your eyes. It's okay. No one's here. No one's looking but you and me. No one's going to think you're weird. You can put your hand on your heart, because it will help you really connect to your own truth. And just close your eyes and take a breath. And just feel into this thing. Feel it into it. I mean, that feel into it. Consider this place you're about to give from obligation. And my first question to you is, what is it that you really want to give? Just really consider that and feel into your heart and your own truth. What is it that you really want to give? And then the other question is, what is it that you really have to give right now? Because your want and your have can be different. So what is it that you really have to give? And then lastly, what's aligned for you to give at this time? What's aligned for you to give at this time? What do you want to give? What do you have to give? And what is aligned at this time? And then my dare to you, because living the feminine wisdom way and choosing to do things differently, different than what the systems say you have to, whether it's a family system, a community system, your own system, the systems you work in, is a daring act. It's a courageous act. My double dog dare is to only create from alignment, to give or to interact, to do with whatever is showing up for you from a place of love and harmony. What is in harmony? What is in alignment to give? And when you give in harmony, you make your choices in harmony, your life comes into harmony. So that's the practice. It's a practice of self-awareness, and it's a practice of self-empowerment. To know yourself, to know your truth, and then from a place of self-empowerment, take that loving action, even if that means disappointing another, and even if that means you not getting what you want right now. Part of the reason we're so overwhelmed is because we're trying to do everything now, and you can't do everything now. Some things are for later. And if you want the space that you desire in your life, if you want to feel spacious and feel peaceful, honey, you got to move some stuff out of your space. And that means you're going to say no to some things. That means you're not going to show up for certain people in some ways, but you got to show up for yourself first. And then get clear what's in alignment for you to give to this person, this project, this community, and only give from that place. And you know what will happen when you do? Space gets created for you, and someone else will step in and take up whatever is needed. That space wouldn't be there if you were sitting in it. And it doesn't take anything away from you. It actually allows you to stay focused on your part, which is a key piece of feminine leadership. Hashtag stay focused on your part. You want to stay out of overwhelm. You want to reach your mission, reach your goals, have an impact. This is partly how we do it. One little practice. You can do it this week. Come over to Feminine Power Time. Tune into into episode number 104 to get more on the other time stealers and to take this even deeper for yourself. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Dare to live the feminine wisdom way.